we're back in GCW, and I'm done with my break. I had a week-long break that I announced on my website, of course. If you want to take a look at updates, I do post them about every week. There's not much communicated, but I did announce that I was taking a little week-long break, which is why I haven't uploaded in like 9 days. I'm just suffering a little bit of burnout from making videos, and work has been crazy. But we're back, and I'm gonna change the upload schedule a little bit. Instead of an episode every 2 days, I'll do every 3 days, and hopefully still get videos out while maintaining a pretty decent schedule. I'm starting school again soon, so yeah. We open the show with Ventura's Jesse, Tyrell, and Triple H connect promo. Out comes The Rock, and Jesse Ventura books The Rock in a match tonight. It's going to be The Rock in a handicap match against Ron Simmons and Bradshaw. 96. Booker T and DDP work together to take on Adrian Adonis and Tex Slazenger, and it's Booker T pinning Tex Slazenger with the axe kick, and a car crash match right here. 75. Gene interviews Detective Disco and Sherlock Wright. They're facing Lance Storm and Just Incredible of the Impact Players, the tag champs, later tonight. Raven has a promo video talking about Owen Hart. His gimmick is getting stale, so let's mark that down. Raven gimmick. We're getting closer and closer to March Massacre, of course. It's going to be next episode, and Raven right here challenges Owen Hart for the IC title on the pay-per-view, so 54. Sting cuts a backstage promo on Chris Jericho. He's been having problems with Jericho as of late, and he calls him out here. 90. The Impact Players successfully defend the GCW Tag Team Championships against the Dancing Fools of Sherlock Wright and Detective Disco. A 70. Afterwards, Gene Okerlund interviews the Impact Players, and they stick to their guns, and they say that they did not attack Shawn Michaels. They're not the party responsible for taking HBK out of commission. So 45. Gene Okerlund interviews Eddie Guerrero backstage, and Eddie's talking about the ladder match between Dean Malenko and Rey Mysterio for the Cruiserweight Championship, and that match is up next. Match went a little too long. I forgot about that. Rey Mysterio, though, successfully defends the Cruiserweight Championship after Eddie Guerrero ran in and attacked Dean Malenko, so Rey still the Cruiserweight Champion. Detective Disco and Sherlock Wright are backstage, and they find footage of the attack on Shawn Michaels, and they watch it, and you can't see who attacked him, you just see Shawn Michaels laying there. But you do see someone in the background, and that's Mankind, Mick Foley. He's in the background for some reason, and Detective Disco and Sherlock Wright have another clue. 46. Gene Okerlund interviews Jesse, Tyrell, and Triple H on tonight's match, of course, and Jesse Ventura makes Tyrell the referee for tonight's main event in 85. Afterwards, Gene Okerlund interviews The Rock, talking about the main event in 88. And then we get The Rock versus the APA. Rock gets the win. We get some interference in the match with Jack Doan taking over as referee after Tyrell was knocked out. Bubba Ray ran in, Devon ran in, Jesse Ventura, Triple H, they all got involved. And afterwards, we get a brawl between the Dudleys teaming with The Rock against the APA and Triple H. 68. And 87, it's not too bad, we'll take it. Popularity goes up, we're happy with that. And that was Fuel. We still got an episode of Ignition to book, so let's go right into that right now. Alright, we're on Ignition. We're opening with Dustin Rhodes getting promo. Out comes the Big Show, and JJ Dillon comes out, and he books Dustin versus Big Show in tonight's main event, and Steve Austin will be the special guest referee. 73. Brian Pillman takes on Val Venus and gets the win after Chris Candido ran in and attacked Val Venus. Afterwards, Michael Cole interviews Brian Pillman, and he asks him, what's next or whatever. Some stupid interview question. Pillman says, kids, you can make it one day if you work hard and you persevere and you chase your dreams. He gives some rehearsed speech about, doing good and working hard. And you can tell that something's behind his eyes. You can tell that he's not completely in the moment right now cutting this promo. 77. Got Chris Benoit, Gunn, Shamrock, Taz, all exchanging words. Benoit versus Gunn is scheduled for March Massacre, but Taz and Shamrock want to be in the match as well. Gunn won a Battle Royal to win the number one contendership, so Shamrock and Taz need to win a match in order to qualify for being added to the match at March Massacre. So tonight, Shamrock versus Chris Benoit and Taz versus Billy Gunn. Shamrock and Benoit is next, and Shamrock gets the win by countout, which means Ken Shamrock is officially added to the March Massacre match, so now it's a triple threat, and if Taz can beat Billy Gunn later tonight, he will also be added to that match. J.J. Dillon is talking to DX backstage, and he announces that on pay-per-view it's going to be Road Dogg and X-Pac versus Too Cool versus The Undertaker and Kane for the World Tag Team Championship. The Hardys cut a backstage promo. They're facing Edge and Christian next week of The Brood, a 47. Taz manages to defeat Billy Gunn, handful of tights, and Taz is also added, so we're going to get another Fatal 4-Way at March Massacre for the United States Championship, a 75. The Godfather and Satoshi Kojima team up next against the made-up team of Shane Douglas and Kanyon, and Kojima gets the win with the Koji Cutter. Afterwards, Kanyon and Douglas argue a little bit, and pulls an 85, so that's pretty good. We've got The Undertaker and Kane getting a backstage promo on the Triple Threat tag match on pay-per-view, an 88. The Big Show versus Dustin with Steve Austin as referee. They have a draw after Steve Austin calls for the bell, does some bullshit, and then afterwards he stuns both of them, and Austin walks out with his hand held high. 86. Alright. Decent show. Hey, look, it's Sherlock Wright. And he has great stats. Alex Wright has great stats. I don't know why, but I mean, he's a good wrestler, don't get me wrong. I like Alex Wright. I think he's a little overrated right here, but regardless, he's a great worker. Or he was a great worker, I should say. Shaggy 2 Dope, hired by WCW. Alright. Ron Harris by CSW. Alright. Thank you guys for watching this episode of GCW. It's a little shorter. We kind of breezed through that. So since we're so on time, might as well book an episode of Rival TV, I guess. We haven't done Rival TV, or at least I'll do a recap. I haven't done Rival TV on YouTube in a while. So let's get to it. So what's been going on with Rival TV? Let's look. So last time I did this, I think it was Marvelous Massacre? Or was it Sudden Impact? I don't remember. Anyway, let's just see what happened since Marvelous Massacre. So RVD won the title back, whatever. And then he moved into a program with Null eventually. Let's see where I can find it. So the Impact players won the Rival Pro tag titles at one point. We had some showcases. Let's just go by pay-per-view. So at Sudden Impact, Psychosis became the Rival Pro Cruiserweight Champion, a new title. The Impact players retained the tag titles. Goldberg retained the tag TV title, and Null became Rival Pro Heavyweight Champion. Null is Johnny Ace. New Gen Rivals. Nothing happens. It's Destiny. Destiny's our big show. And we had the Impact players defeating the Dudleys to retain the titles. Taka beat Psychosis to retain the Cruiserweight Championship, which he won, I think, the episode prior of TV. Goldberg defeated RVD to retain the television title, and Null defeated Disco Inferno to retain the Rival Pro Heavyweight Championship. Elsewhere, now in the new year, we had some high school gym shows. Valentine's Day Revenge 98, we had Funaku, which is Funaki and Taka. defeating the Headbangers, Thrill Seekers, and the Samoans. Jason Jett won the Cruiserweight Championship from Super Crazy. Marvelous Mark Merrow was the TV champ. We had a special called Champions Defend, where Art Barr retained the Cruiserweight Championship. Funaku retained the tag titles. And Null retained the world titles. So let's look at the titles. Alright, I'm probably not going to show an episode because we're 10 minutes in, but I'll show what happened or what's going on with the titles. So we have the Prospect Cup, which is happening later in the month. It's a tournament for young wrestlers under the age of 25. The plan is to have this Prospect Cup be a thing by the time of Rival Pro's rebrand in the 2000s. I'm planning on rebranding Rival Pro to New Era Wrestling, NEW. And the Prospect Cup is going to remain a thing. It's going to be their main tournament. And AJ Styles is going to be a showcase in the Prospect Cup, as well as Bryan Danielson and Samoa Joe and all these guys. So let's look at the Cruiserweight Championship first. So Psychosis, first champion, won it on November 8th, 1997 until December 10th, 97, 32 days. Taka won the title from December 10th to January 29th, and 50 days for him. Jason Jett won it at a high school gym show on January 29th and lost it on February 18th to Art Barr, who's been holding it ever since. The television championship was around the waist of Goldberg. He retained the title at Destiny, and he vacated it on December 25th when he got called up. And it was vacant until January 7th when Art Barr won the title, defeating Marvelous Mark Merrow and Ron Killings. And then 28 days later, Marvelous Mark Merrow picked it up off Art Barr. And then we got the tag titles. So we know I featured on the episodes until around the Hardys. The Hardys lost it to Lance Storm and Just Incredible, who became the longest reigning tag champs, 98 days. Null and Steven Richards. Steven Richards is kind of like getting mind washed by Null, and he's obeying Null's commands. And the plan is to have Steven Richards eventually dethrone Null as heavyweight champion. So they won the belts on Christmas Eve, 97, and they just lost them to Taka and Funaku. And the heavyweight championship, you saw until RVD, November 97, and he lost to Null, who has been holding it ever since at 116 days, and he's going to be holding it until Destiny, which I believe is in September. So that's what's going on with Rival Pro. Thank you guys for watching this episode of GCW. We'll see you guys in the next one, where we will also be featuring March Massacre. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Goodbye.